Alrighty, I want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So this one, I've already done the recap of 2023. This is going into the 2024. Over 3+ years of doing videos. This year, it's going to be different. I'm going to be doing videos on security / best practices, knowing what kind of has changed over the last year or so, what's being recommended. Not really what's being enforced. What is really being recommended and what's being enforced are slowly changing. So, knowing what best practice you really should be using compared to what the security is the difference. Of course, you want to use the most security you can. You don't want to be using bare minimums. Same thing with computer specs. If you're running a piece of software, do you want the better computer or do you want the bare minimum of what the computer should be? You can understand these terms. Next part is gaming / high performance systems, knowing a lot of the differences. If you do it, because I've touched on some of this in some of the videos, but I'm really going to pinpoint this because if you're in a business and you're running AutoCAD and you're running some of these other kind of software and you're not truly gaming, a lot of this kind of applies to you. And if you are gaming, you might be making some major mistakes by not realizing some little tiny details. So, want to go through and explain some of that? Or maybe you are considering building a gaming machine or upgrading your current machine to a gaming machine and you want to use some of your current parts. Now, a lot of people are like, you can't do that. You need to buy. No, that's not true. And knowing that you can migrate or move over your data to some of these new parts. Have a video out already that's going to be coming out about M.2 drives. NVMe drives be coming out next year. Talking about that very subject, because I don't think a lot of people talk about that. They talk about install this and your new board, install the OS, install all your games, and do this and do that. Boards support more than one. What if you want more than one? There's performances and other things that are in effect when you get into gaming. How much of a boost that'll actually provide you is all questionable. There was old ways to boost computers with old spinning mechanical drives by putting multiple of these in to boost the performance. Honestly, I have not benchmarked or tested any of that on new hardware. I don't have the hardware to put in 4 or 5 NVMEs and do these things to find out, is there a performance factor? The NVMEs are so fast nowadays, if you did, it's probably going to be such a small percentage. But if you need that beast of a machine, maybe server line, you might want to implement some of these type of things. Because now a lot of this technology is coming to the servers. They're being rolled out in servers. Because the workstations are becoming beasts. They got, 2 or 3 NVMEs, 4 terabyte each. Those are some big machines that you can stripe those drives. You can mirror those drives. You can do a lot of things to those drives. And again, this is all stuff I've covered in other videos. So if there's terms here that you don't understand, please go back and reference those videos. But this is now going to be the performance type of thing and security best practices. I would even say updates to best practices in security. What's recommended? What is really the best practice? That's not really that they're enforcing this. There's some sites that really don't enforce it. But it's your security. It's your information. Terms. What certain things mean. What is social engineering? You'll hear this a lot. That video is oncoming next year. So you actually understand what a social engineering is. Where does social engineering come into? How does it affect you? Who does it affect? Why would it affect you? What you can do to try to mitigate or lessen this. Who is more affected by this? Older generation, newer generation, middle-aged, young guys? Who's affected by this? So there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of things going on. And again, there's stuff that I've covered in other videos that I'm really going to break down and pinpoint. And they're probably going to be fairly short videos because they're going to be pinpointed to very specific things because these are the security concerns right now. And these are things that can be software manufacturers, other things where they're pretty much, I would say, making errors with what they've done and how they've done things because that used to be the way to do things and they've engineered it and scripted it and wrote it. And I don't know if there's really another way to do it or get around it other than the way they are. But it's a good feature to have, but to know best practice and best procedure to keep you safe. And I've covered a lot of this before. I've mentioned it in other videos. The next video probably coming out is going to be one that I've already covered about when you install Windows and it asks you, what street were you born on? And blah, 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 blah. This is all stuff that can be social engineered. So this is stuff that now, if you get into the security researching and sites, they tell you, do not put in that correct information. Because it's not confidential. Anybody that has access to your Facebook, especially the younger generations, knew where you grew up because it's there. So this is what's coming up for next year. Wanted to do a video to let people know. Make sure you do this year's year-end quiz video and make sure you do last year's. Last year is going to be another one that I'm going to have to repeat for this year because it is the Mac Daddy of a doozy, especially if you're gaming. Some of these things that I've seen with gaming benchmarks and people trying to max performance their systems and they have some weird issues. I really wonder if it's what I brought up is their effect. What their issue is. Because I've seen it doing some weird stuff that I just kind of scratch my head and I'm like, whoa, let me look at this first and see if that's there. And it's there, I fix it, the fix is there. I have the video on the fix. And all of a sudden that problem went away. So now, whenever I have an issue, this is really much the first thing I go look at. So this is another best practice procedure-wise that I am now following that is probably not in any book, any testing, any quizzes. There's very little of it online. And if you're gaming, it's going to wreak havoc on you. because these are not gaming machines that I'm seen doing a lot of things. If I was gaming on a machine, I can almost guarantee it was going to have a problem, because it's having a problem running simple Word documents, printing. You know it's going to have issues doing gaming. So, wanted to go through this and elaborate this and make sure people are doing that. Because, again, this year's quiz definitely will also affect your gaming. There's a lot of things that are in that quiz for you to review, to understand and know. Is that going to affect your gaming? It's going to affect your gaming. So, it's going to affect high performance. Both of those. So they fall into these categories, because if you have either one or both of these problems, it's going to affect you on both categories. So I wanted to elaborate that on this video. Keep it short so you're aware of what next year's videos are, and to make sure everybody goes and looks at these quizzes. Year-end videos, the quiz and the video, because the quiz brings up the questions that you need to go look at and figure out before you get to the video. If you just go watch the year-end video, you're probably going to miss the key hard part of why you want to look at this, why you even are interested. So for this video, I'm probably going to wrap it up, say the end to 2023, welcoming in the 2024 videos, and let's get going with new subjects, new things that I think a lot of people really need to know and understand how this can affect you and affect others, and to save you money, because you might spend a lot of money trying to remedy an issue when it's a different issue. Knowing a lot of this is why I have all these rabbit hole videos, because you might think it's one thing, but everything is connected together, and that's your rabbit hole. You start in one spot, but you end up going down a whole chain of things before you can actually find the right thing. So again, thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the bell, share the links, let people know this is out there, because, again, you're gaming. You might be gaming with other people. You might be working with other people. You might be doing media creation, having people edit your videos, doing other things that are having issues, and these videos might help them out, that might help you out, because they're editing and doing stuff to your videos that might cause errors, might cause delays, might slow them down, might have downtime, where then that slows you down. So this is kind of the weird thing that's going on, and I want to put this information out there because it's not really difficult information. It's just knowing it and letting people know about it and understanding it. So thank you all very much for watching. Stick around for next year's videos. There's a lot of good content coming out.